Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Mile High Game Guys board gaming podcast. I'm your host, Adrian.
I'm Zach.
I'm Wes.
Filling in for Jeff,
Loser.
who's back in Denver, but
Has class on Mondays.
Yeah.
So
has class and had a whirlwind trip home and is quite exhausted. So we gave him a night off.
Yes.
And there were no emails for him anyway. So, well, there is one, but we're going to save it for him. As a welcome back to the show, pick me up email.
yes, definitely.
And
So.
probably I'd just fuck it up anyway.
Probably. Anyway, even without Jeff, this is still one of our Wednesday episodes, which means it is sponsored by our sponsors, Gray Fox Games, who are kind enough to continue to give us money in exchange for saying their name a couple times.
Yeah.
It's a solid relationship.
That is how sponsorships tend to work.
Indeed.
More or less.
Yeah. With that out of the way, what have you guys been up to? Wes, you haven't been on the show in a while.
Yeah.
On the podcast side of things. You've been on some streams. You've been over on the MHGG side of things.
Yeah, that's where I live now. So don't expect me to remember everything I've done since the last time I was on this show, because I don't know when that was.
That's fine. You don't have to remember everything.
How
How about just
today?
narrow it down to the last week or so?
I would actually like you to tell us every game in detail that you've played since January 14th, 2018.
I would like you not to do that.
Okay, so anyway, today, I'm just going to start with today because that's what is fresh in my mind. My car was in the shop, so that's what I did today. I worked from home and paid hundreds of dollars on routine maintenance.
Oh, that's fun stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I got a engine notice on my car, so I have to go take that in tomorrow and hope that it's just oil thing, but it shouldn't, it would be weird for it to just be like, you're a little late on oil change, so here's the engine.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
Yeah.
My car hit 100,000 like 6 weeks ago or something.
How long have you had it?
Almost 3 years.
Okay.
2.5, 3 years, something like that.
Did you get it?
No, it was
Okay.
at like 65 or something when
okay.
I bought it.
Gotcha.
But it's like when you hit 100,000, like all of that maintenance stuff needs to be done. And it's been making weird sounds. And I'm just like, now that I'm almost to 105, I should probably just go do that.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So I spent today working from home and fretting about how much I was going to have to spend on the car.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yep.
But is it taken care of now?
So it's taken care of now. It's all great. It runs like super quiet. Like all the noises that were there are gone. It's fantastic.
So what they have to do?
There was some like spark plugs. The antifreeze had to get like flushed and purged. The serpentine belt had to be replaced, which is a major one that if it was going to go bad, you want to get it replaced and
Yes, you
catch
do.
it early. So glad that happened now and not 10,000 miles from now when
And
it just like breaks.
I'm assuming it's not an easy fix in your car.
No idea.
Because I know my Jeep, when I had that one, it was very easy to replace that. And I know because it broke several times and I had to replace it.
I can assume it wasn't so bad. I mean, they did it all fairly quickly. So, but kind of just like a lot of little things that then added up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know how that goes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember the last time I had a serpentine belt replaced on any vehicle I've owned, but still not great.
No. So that was my today.
I also spent the day at home, not because I worked from home, but because it was my day off. And I also spent lots and lots of money because I spoke to debt collectors about student loans. It did not go well.
No, I'm sure it did not.
Yeah. Turns out when your loans are federally subsidized, you have to pay them no matter what. And they know that and are not willing to settle for anything less.
Weird. So you just got to keep pushing it into forbearance. Just keep on pushing it. Keep on pushing it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, honestly, dude, what bet do you want to make here? Do you want to make a bet where you give me like I pay 60 to 70% cash money like right now? Or do you want to bet that nobody ever decides to handle student debt crisis in America and you actually get to collect on all that? Or I just get fed up with constantly being underwater in my debt and off myself, and then you really get nothing.
Yeah.
They took the well, pay in full, please.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
They said, we'll bet that you're not going to kill yourself over this.
Right. Which of those options was you pay us the money you owe us? That's the one we want.
Yeah. It was clearly a bold choice on their part.
Clearly.
So that was my day. I also made a strawberry rhubarb crisp that's delicious.
Nice.
So
And we didn't get any why?
Yeah.
because you didn't ask, it's upstairs.
Oh,
You can have some after we record.
Okay, good. Well,
There's even French vanilla ice cream to go with it.
all right. Well,
Nice.
this is a great podcast, everybody.
see you all next week.
Yeah. I in classic Adrian form, the making of the strawberry rhubarb crisp did not go without incident. Basically, like Megan a couple days ago was like, "Hey, look up a recipe. We have rhubarb in the freezer. Look up a recipe for strawberry rhubarb crisp." And I found one. I sent it to her. She's like, "Good. Now you know how to make it."
Yep.
And I went, "Okay. I feel like I've been tricked, but okay, all right."
You deserve that.
She's like, I work the next several nights and then I'm leaving for Greece and I would like to have strawberry rhubarb crisp before I go. So please make this. And I said, okay, all right, I can make that maybe Monday or something. And so I went and had breakfast with Paul this morning. And then when I left, I went to the store and I bought like strawberries and I bought some rolled oats and what else? I got something else. I don't remember what it was. And I came home and I was making it, and Megan got up as I was making it. And I was like, oh, yeah, I didn't realize you had rolled oats already. So I bought more rolled oats. She goes, well, we had everything that was on the ingredients list for that. I was like, oh, we did? We had strawberries? She's like, yeah, we had strawberries that are probably going to go bad soon that are in the fridge that we need to use as I'm stirring my fresh bought today strawberries and sugar. Like, oh, well, we still have strawberries. So maybe I'll go buy some rhubarb somewhere and make a second rhubarb crisp.
There you go.
That's when you just chop up the strawberries that are extra and layer them on top at the end, and it's just like
There you
bonus strawberries.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with bonus
Yeah.
strawberries.
I know.
Very rarely is it too many strawberries.
Very rarely. But yeah, so I still have a pound of strawberries in my fridge
Nice.
and a whole lot of rolled oats.
I mean, that just sounds like breakfast.
Also not wrong. What about you, Zach?
I also stayed home today, but that's because it's another Jewish holiday.
Do you remember the name of this one?
It's something to do with the Torah. I know that.
Okay.
Okay,
So it's a
like-
Jewish holiday.
Yes. I want to try and make a guess, but I feel like I shouldn't.
That's a smart move.
But it's my last. This will be the last, 4-day weekend for me until Thanksgiving, I guess. It's gonna be so brutal going back to 5 days of working in a week. I don't know how I feel about that.
Ooh,
Yeah.
this man.
Hey,
Oh, dude, you have to work a whole month before
know.
you get another 4-day
I know.
vacation.
Here, if this makes you feel better,
It won't.
Honestly, I think it might. Next year, when I am full time, I would get these times off. Except all of these holidays are on Saturday and Sunday, so I won't get shit extra time off for it.
That does make me feel better.
I looked at it and I was like, God damn it!
Now that I'm going to get paid for these,
Yeah,
I'm not going to get paid for them.
Yeah, but at least that's probably only true for 2020, and then maybe back like in 2021 they'll have shifted back into.
I feel
weekdays.
like I looked at them and it was not looking good for me.
They don't give you the Friday before or the
No,
Monday after or
no,
anything
they
like
do
that.
not.
That
No.
sucks.
For those, yeah,
Okay.
like all the federal ones, yes,
Yeah.
but as far as I can tell. So I was just sitting around. I bought a bunch of games recently on Steam, and I was like, well, 2 days off of work is a great time to start them. I bought it was Paradox Interactive had a sale this weekend, so I bought Stellaris and Surviving Mars for cheap, and
Nice.
and then I also bought one that was on early access that just came out. It's called like Noita or something like that. It's basically a pixelated. It's not by Paradox, so it's not that style of game at all. But this is it's a 2D roguelike where you're sort of like a mage going around in caverns collecting wands that do a bunch of weird shit because it's a roguelike. Except the cool thing about this one is like every pixel is interactable or something like you can do like everything is destructible, and like you can light oil up fire and then it'll turn into like all the smoke and stuff will go into the ceiling, and you can freeze the water. Fire, you can light people on fire, and wood on fire, and coal on fire, and
Most things
so many
on
things
fire.
so many things on fire. So much so that anytime I go by just an oil lamp that's just hanging, like a lantern that's just hanging on the ceiling, I'll just shoot it with my wand so it falls onto the wood below, and it just starts. I just leave fire everywhere
Nice.
behind me. But it's really hard, but it's been a lot of fun so far, and it's totally my style of game. And I've had some very, very ridiculous situations occur because of just weird different spells interacting and stuff like that. So that one's been fun. And then I tried Surviving Mars a bit.
What'd you think of it?
It is...
Because that's been one that I've been tentatively having an eye on.
I mean, the problem with me is that with most of those games, I feel that I just don't feel like I don't have enough direction for it. So I'm still giving it a try to try and build a colony. Like the interactions it has and like it seems like a cool game, and I'm still gonna try and play it. But I don't know if it's gonna stick with it past more than a couple of hours. Like once I fully because I finished the tutorial and then I started doing my own stuff, and I'm like, oh, now that I don't have something being like, hey, you should go do this and you should go do this, and now you do this and this. I'm like, there's just a lot of stuff to do that I don't want to do. I also picked up Frostpunk as well, which is the same style thing, except you have to be like, because it's a frozen world, and you're just like, all right, well, kids have to work now. Great. Okay. Now, like it has all these choices. You can choose to have kids work or not, but if you don't, then they eat without helping you at all, and then you're just like, oh, but this is so hard. I need the help. Okay. Do we actually want to treat these people well and make sure they recover? Or do we want to just be like, oh, you've got like something on your hand, we're just going to take that hand. Like amputee them.
Wow, it seems like this game just pushes Zach into full-on totalitarianism.
Oh, I mean,
the children work.
Yeah.
You don't get time to recuperate from your injuries. We just amputate.
And it did say for a, like once somebody died, because like they're like, I don't want to get my leg amputated. It has gangrene. And then I was like, I could choose to be like, no, you're going to happen. Or be like, all right, it's your choice. And I was like, okay, it's your choice. A couple days later, oh, look at that. She died. Weird.
Funny how that works.
And then it's like, all right, do you want to build a cemetery and then makes people feel better? Or do you want to have a body pit that's just sort of
body pit
cover with snow so it stops the decay? It's fine.
Snowy body pits.
Yeah. So I'm enjoying that one
Did
more.
You just say
Yeah.
snowy body pits?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Also just choked on my margarita a little bit. Well, yeah, I haven't really played any games. I like video games. I have been playing XCOM 2 again.
I saw that.
Nothing very exciting to report there. It's still regularly very hard.
I just wrapped up on Super Mario Odyssey and Hollow Knight. I really wanted to get like 112% on Hollow Knight.
Yeah.
And I got stuck on the Tournament of Fools. And I was like, fine, I'll just go win the game at 104%. And did that. And almost got the secret ending. But at the very last second was like, I'm not sure if it wants me to hit him with my normal sword or my other sword. And so I hit him with the normal sword. I was like, that works. I guess I'll keep doing that instead of also then trying the special sword and getting the special ending.
Oh, man.
So I might go back and replay that. But then I finished Mario Odyssey and I downloaded the SNES and NES on Switch. So I want to go back and play a bunch of retro stuff now.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting a Switch again and I'm like, so many games, I'm just, there's like 10 games already I want to rebuy just to get on the Switch.
I was watching a streamer playing City Skylines and I was like, oh, right, City Skylines. Now I want to play that game again.
On the Switch?
No, not on Switch.
Okay.
On Steam.
Okay, I was going to say, that could not run well on
God, no. No way. There's no way that would run well on Switch. But I just happened to have been watching somebody and being like, oh, now I want to go play. So now I have like 12 games. I'm like, I want to play that. Mostly old stuff.
Yeah.
Because I watch way too many streamers trying to get world records on original Mario. It is insane how fast they can play on 100% warp.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
The world record is like 4 minutes and 55 seconds. Nuts.
Yep.
Way overly optimized.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the speed running just gets to like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously you're not trying to enjoy the game at all. You're just trying to get.
You're trying to get the record.
Yeah,
doesn't sound like fun to me.
Though I was watching a guy playing Mario Odyssey nipple percent category, which is how fast you can get to the point where you can buy the underwear costume where it's just Mario in his underwear.
Oh yeah.
How quickly can you see Mario's nipples?
And what was the count on that?
The record is something like 9 minutes, 8.5 minutes. I can't remember exactly.
Gotcha.
Great.
Yeah. Because it's pretty close to the beginning of the game. So it's
right.
Basically, how do you beat the first level that the tutorial hat town, get to Sand Kingdom, and then have 1,000 coins.
Right.
So there's not a whole lot of steps.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But I was going through Twitch. I was like, that sounds. What is it? What is Super Mario Odyssey nipple percent? And then I was like, oh. Okay.
I'm all
I'll watch this.
Yeah.
I watched it for like an hour or so while the guy like whittled his time down from like 10 minutes to 9 minutes to like almost like within a couple of places of the world record. And then he's like, all right, well, that was enough distraction. Now back to trying to get all the, the full 100% all moons run. I'm like, well, I'm not going to watch you do that because the record on that is probably something like 12 hours.
Jesus. Yeah. Pass for me on all accounts. Cool.
All right.
Well, what about board games? Let's talk about some board games for a little bit on this board game podcast.
That doesn't seem right.
Why don't you start us off, Adrian?
Yeah.
Yeah, since you want to talk about board games so much.
Fair. So we'll start this one off here with the most recent live stream that we did, which was the quest for El Dorado. It was Zach and I here in the studio, joined by Allison and Leander from MHGG.
Yep.
They came over. We taught them El Dorado, and we played. And you can watch the stream. It's still up on Twitch, and will soon be up on YouTube. But mild spoilers, it was really two separate races on the same board. There was a race for first, and there was a race for not last.
That's true, except the only thing I would say is that at first it looked like the first half of the game, somebody took a commanding lead, and then somebody else was able to sneak their way from the back of the pack up to competing for first place.
Yes, that is what happened.
It wasn't Adrian. It
It was not Adrian.
No.
Adrian did not win the second race, the race for not last. So, yeah, that was the worst I've done at El Dorado in quite some time. I got really hosed there for a little while. Allison did a great job of blocking a lot of people regularly.
Yes, she did.
Nice.
Yeah, and
It was a lot of fun. Margaritas were had.
yeah, Leander and Zach both had a lot of margarita. Zach ended up staying after to watch Terminator 2 while he recovered from his margarita.
Yeah. Yes.
Margaritas, plural. Allison did not drink, and I drank a decent amount of beer, but not too much. So yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, it was good. It was a fun time. That was a good. It felt like it was a good stream. Took like an hour or so too. So
That's not bad.
Yeah, nice quick stream. El Dorado looked really good on the overhead camera too. It was a good one for visual appeal.
What was it that May was saying that like? So we had them flipped over on the side so that you could see it better from the overhead camera, but it looked like they were.
She said it looked like they were army crawling through the jungle.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was one game that I played. Game night. Megan, I knew in advance she was going to be coming, and I asked her, "Hey, would you play Root at game night if I wrangle some people together?" And she said yes. So I wrangled some people together, and so it was Paul. Or no, it wasn't Paul. Paul didn't join. Wes, Chris Evans, Megan, and I in a 4-player. Not Wes. Wes is here and it's throwing me off. Ant.
Because I was going to play with you.
You were going to play.
And then it sounded like you had too many people, and Zach was like, let's play Civ. And I was like, I'd much rather play Civ.
Yeah. Spoilers for later. But yeah, so we played Root. I did not win Root either. I did very poorly.
What were you?
This time I was the Irie.
Okay.
And I never got above 10 points.
And
I never got outside of 3 clearing. Well, no, at the very end of the game, I got to my 4th clearing, and I turmoiled 3 times in about 2 hours.
That's rough. Jeez.
Yeah, I was just never, ever able.
So did you actually have... So how much of that was your fault, and how much was other people being like, I'm going to make Adrian go into turmoil? Or is it like 50-50?
It was less my fault and more card draws.
Okay.
And so I got bad card draws. So because you have to play a card on your thing every turn.
Right.
And so basically once you get your first I have to battle in a rabbit clearing. It's like, okay, how many turns until that causes me to turmoil now? There is a finite amount of battling I can do in rabbit clearing.
Well, that's what I mean. Is like you specifically make people like not let you battle there just to... Because I remember when I played...
Yeah.
I forget who we were playing with, but they kept letting me battle in that one spot that I needed to battle.
Yeah.
It was a new player. They were playing cats, and they did not understand that they were supposed to not let you battle them. And I was playing otters and was trying to facilitate everybody battling each other.
Yes.
So I was also on board with Zach getting able to continue to run his chain because it helped me.
Yeah.
Yeah. No otters to help in that with this one.
What were you playing with?
So Megan was the Vagabond, or not the Vagabond, the Woodland Alliance.
Ooh. This was her first game too, right?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, that's a rough combo there.
I played them on my first game.
Well,
I think I won that
No,
game
that's
too.
what I mean is that in order for Woodland Alliance for them to not win, people have to step on them all game.
Yeah.
And I feel like people will be hesitant to do that with like a new person in the game.
Yeah. So and then Ant was the lizard cult, and Chris was the cats.
Okay.
And so my first two turmoils were fairly like standard.
Okay.
Yeah, my first turmoil especially was fairly standard. I'd been doing pretty well, and then Ant did a massive cult uprising, so we played with the new. Like Chris knew some of the new change.
Yeah.
Well, we only did for the cult
Gotcha.
because he knew the ones for the cult, and I've played the cult enough to be like, yeah, they're underpowered. The new rules are ridiculously good for them though. Like I want to play them with the new rules. But Giant was able to much easier, I don't know. Much more easily was able to flip a bunch of my birds into lizards, which hurt. He had done it like he did like an overthrow.
The birds like stability. You weren't providing that, so
clearly, they joined a lizard cult.
Yeah, because the cult will be there forever. So.
Which there should be a rule. One of the lizard's key traits is hatred of birds. They should not be able to flip any birds into lizards ever at any point.
And yet
they do. But he flipped one of my nests, and that ultimately caused one of my first turmoils. Then I had started to, so I was behind pretty much from the get-go. I had started to kind of crawl back into a decent position, and I was like, okay, I'm going to get through this turn, and I'll be good. I'll be set. And that turn, Megan was like, so if I do the uprising in that clearing there, that kills all 4 of Adrian's birds, his nest, and all 4 of Ant's lizards, right? I was like, yeah. She goes, it seems like that's a good move for me to do. It's like, yeah. She's like, I'm going to do it.
Nice.
And she did it. And then it was like, all right, I'm out of the game. Like, I've got 5 fucking wild cards. I just lost 5 points. I was at like 12. So, yeah. Megan handily won. But she was very frustrated by it in the end because she was like, I don't feel like I really understood what I should be doing, and I won. And I don't like to win when I don't feel like I understood what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you were playing very well for not knowing what you were doing. You did it. You did exactly what that faction is supposed to do.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, exactly. And that's, like I said, that's one of the it's one of the problems with Woodland Alliance is that once they appear, you are like, oh fuck, now they're just entrenched in there, and it's so hard to get away from.
Yeah.
So
she did very well. She's down to play again. She really is now more interested in when we get the updated boards from the new expansion for the mechanical enemies and doing like cooperative games against the different mechanical factions. So I look forward to that.
That sounds cool.
Yeah. We tried it the one time, but the one that shipped with the base game, that mechanical marquee is fucking broken.
like in a bad way.
Oh
right?
yeah, like stomps people. You have to basically play perfect to even have a chance of beating them. And even then they can get lucky with card draws and just fuck you. So looking forward to the new, like, better factions that are shipping. That was one of the main things that I wanted to get from their most recent Kickstarter. So,
Gotcha.
After that, we played Team 3.
Yes,
we did a 3v3 Team 3 game, and we did like 6 rounds of it, I think, because we tried to make sure everybody got to do each thing twice with like a different combination of the other two, so that everybody kind of got to experience it in all directions or whatever. It was fine, but it was not nearly as fun as everybody had made it. Like, I felt like after those 6 plays, it was like, well, I have experienced everything this game has to offer.
That's how I felt after I played that the first time and I only played 1 role. Like, I was like, I don't even need to play the other roles. I feel like I'm not going to continue to like this game. And then I played it again on Wednesday and was like, yeah, I continue to not get the hype on this.
Yeah. Like, it didn't seem that I don't know. The things you were trying to build were really straightforward. Like, we never really had much effort in getting people to.
How difficult did you do?
We were doing 1s and 2s.
Okay.
We didn't get into the 3s, but we looked at them and it was like, meh.
I mean, I have now I played that on Sunday, and we got into the 3s, and they are a lot harder.
Yeah.
especially within the 3-minute time that you're trying to get it in.
Which that might be something because we didn't play with a 3-minute timer. We just played like a race to see who finished first.
Yeah.
I don't know if playing the 3-player like the quad like against the time, just a 3-player game would be any different. But
Well, that's a shame. I still really liked it. I still really like it. So.
But that's what I played. What did you play, Zach?
So while you were playing Root, Wes and I were playing Civ: A New Dawn. I finally got a chance to play that again after I've been wanting to play it for a while.
Very good game.
And we roped Lance into it to get because I was like, it'd be cool to get another new person, and I trust Lance as a new gamer, but also I didn't want to play to 4 to drag it out or anything.
Yeah,
like
it does
that.
drag it 4.
And that game went very well. Taught it to him fairly quickly, and I did a lot better than everybody else in the game.
Definitely. I just had a
Yeah.
really shit start position.
Yes,
I
you
don't
did.
know why that's like the standard starting map for 3 players first game. I was on a corner of the map, like on one little hex board by myself with no resources or anything, walled off from the rest of the map with all desert and mountains. And it's like, well, now I can't go do anything towards the map until I get to my 4 and 5 spots on my map or on my timeline. So I got off to a bit of a slow start because of that.
Yeah. But then eventually we got everything going. We started building wonders. I was able to build a wonder, the Colossus, that got my caravan 6 extra movement split between them. So once I got steam trains, I could literally send my trains from my one of my matured cities to both Lance and Wes's capital city
In one move.
In one move.
Yeah.
And so it was once, because this game ramps up quite a bit
Very quickly.
very quickly. And so I was able to start getting a lot of trade goods that way. I was spreading out a lot of influence and killing barbarians. Barbarians ended up fucking with Lance and you, I believe, right? A little bit in the beginning, at least.
A little bit with me, not so much. More with Lance,
Okay,
definitely. Yeah. I just had the one, but he was always like right in the way. Then I made the mistake of reinforcing one of my supply tokens or influence tokens to be like, that'll protect me from him. And then he attacked it from the city-state that he had taken over and then flipped it back to the other side and went back to the city-state. And I was like, I see. I had made a critical error. I tried to protect myself, but really just prolonged the inevitable.
Because you can't attack the barbarians when they're in the city-states because they're occupying it. And
Right.
so
And you also can't then take over the city-state or trade with the city-state.
Yeah.
So I wanted it to move out and take over my influence token.
But he didn't think about it right.
I didn't think about it in
Yeah.
the right order. So, but
Well,
then
you
I finally...
can thank Lance for always rolling.
Right. And then fucking Lance. That's the other reason that I sucked. Because Lance goes before me. So anytime that, first of all, anytime that a new wonder was up, it seemed like we were both able to buy them on the same turn.
Yeah.
And he went before me, so he would just buy them. And I was playing Egypt, who gets the -1 discount on all of the wonders. And so I was like always in prime position to buy the wonder that's up. It's like, yes, the new one that flipped, that's great for me. And then Lance buys it, and now I don't have, and the next one is too expensive.
Yeah.
And then also, whenever the barbarians or whenever I'm attacking a barbarian or a city-state or anybody else, Lance is the one that rolls the dice for the NPC. And every fucking time he rolled a 5 or a 6 and I rolled a 1 or a 2 and got crushed.
Yeah, and
I couldn't win a combat to save my life.
Yeah, and that's when Wes had like +4 on the base value. So it was like, as long as I don't roll shit and he doesn't roll well, then you'd win. But more often than not, he's like, there's a 6.
Yeah, all I need is for me to roll a 2 and you to roll a 5. Oh, you rolled a 6 and I rolled a 1? Well, fuck. That happened way more often than it should have.
Yeah. But it ended up ending when Wes sent out a city to be near to be next to Mount Everest to get the
so that I could then put my influence on it.
to get the natural wonder or the natural resources, whatever it's called. And then so Lance came in and attacked and sacked your city and took it for himself,
Right, which was on the greenscape, so it was like a 2 to take it over. Which of course he rolls well, so he does that.
And then you fought him to do that as well.
Right, to
Or
take it back the city.
Yeah.
Because, so he had put down influence and taken over Mount Everest.
Yep.
And I misunderstood the rules on that and thought I had to take over the city and then put an influence on top of his influence to get rid of his influence.
And this is all with airplanes at this point, by the way.
So I could have just attacked his influence, which is the way you're supposed to do it. I thought you had to take over the city, attack his influence to get rid of it, and then put a new influence down, which was like way too many steps. And I was like, Zach's going to come in here and take over my city before I can finish that off. But it turns out all you have to do is attack it, and then it turns into yours. Yeah. Which would have been one step. And I was 2 steps in before Zach explained that rule to me. I was like, well, shit, I could have done that last turn.
Yeah. Well, that's because that's what I was just like, well, I'm just going to go attack that and take that for the win, because the only thing I needed was 2 natural wonders. And I was like, well, this one's prime territory. I'm just going to take airplanes to Mount Everest.
Right. And I was like, wait, you can do that? Luckily, I had 3 attacks, and I had only used 2 of them, and I saved the other one to flip an influence token. So I was like, well, then I'm going to use my 3rd attack to get that thing, because I want 2 victory points before you win.
Yeah. And so he ended up taking that, and then so I went to attack his control token, and I was unable to take it. But then I just put down a city next to another natural wonder that nobody was near, and then on my next turn, I just put down an influence to seal the deal.
Final score, what was it? Was it 3-2 to 0 or 3-1 to 0?
It was 3-1, I believe. Lance had 1.
Oh, Lance did end up getting 1?
Yeah.
Okay. So 3-2 to 1.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm glad
I really like that game.
And we had taken out the couple like bad civs. I don't remember which ones they were, but
don't play with France and don't play with England.
Yeah.
I think are the ones that are not great.
Yes.
If you play with those, especially as a new player,
yes,
you're going to be so underpowered. It's not worth it.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. They're rather poorly balanced.
Yeah. That's another game that I'm like, come on, Fantasy Flight, just fucking make a It just needs an expansion to just give it enough legs, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and per their last update, it doesn't seem like it's going to get it.
Well, not anytime soon.
Yeah.
Like they're thinking about thinking about it.
Yeah.
And then the last thing that I played was on Sunday. Me, Paul, and Allison played one of the new Exit games. They released two of them: Haunted Roller Coaster and House of Riddles. And unfortunately, I believe both of them are gated. Basically, did you ever play the Sunken Treasure one?
Yes.
Okay, where it's like you can't like you don't get access to the entire book. You do basically the
one
puzzles.
Page at a time.
Yeah, one page at
sequence,
a time. Yeah. So we did those. So the Haunted Roller Coaster was like that.
Of course, you're on rails.
Yes. Well, honestly, even with that, there are other ones that have. It could have just been like you get trapped on a roller coaster, and now you're just trying to get out of the theme park or something like that. But it was probably okay. I would probably say one of my least favorite, but that's mainly because of that page by page. It really annoys me when they do that. I mean, it's fine for and it is a 2 out of 5 difficulty for both of them. So I was just hoping that some of the easier ones would have that and some wouldn't. But it seems like they're just going more.
That's how they make it easy, is by forcing you to on a new path.
And like in all the exit ones, new stuff that we didn't think about, right? And there is there are 2 puzzles that we were definitely not stuck on, but we actually had to seriously think about versus you look at it and you're like, oh, it's just this and this.
Right.
But we still finished in 40 minutes. No clues were needed. No hints. So got 10 stars. I still think the Sunken Treasure was my least favorite though.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that one.
Yeah. But I'm still, I still have the House of Riddles to try, and then I have that 2-parter one that's a 4.5 out of 5 difficulty. So I'm looking forward to trying that.
Cool.
Yeah.
What about you, Wes? What have you played recently that hasn't already been talked about?
That hasn't already been talked about. I played Civ and Team
talked
3.
about Civ.
Yeah, I know.
You talked about Team 3.
I played some Arkham LCG this weekend.
Okay.
We wrapped up the Return to Carcosa.
Okay.
Which was a lot of fun. We did the final 2 scenarios, and my character, the Rogue, is very reliant on drawing 2 real specific cards from his deck that I have 2 copies of in my deck, and it makes it very easy to get them out really quickly. And for these last 2 scenarios, I could not draw either of them at all.
Were they like the last 4 cards in your deck or
Yeah,
something?
like every single time. It was ridiculous. And so I was way underpowered, which was unfortunate. But we got through La Saint-Michel and then into Carcosa, and we were fighting Haster at the very end. And we were like, we got this. We got it through the first act and the second act in literally the first 2 turns. Like one player spent their first turn, 3 actions, and we beat the first act. And then I did my turn, and we beat the second act. And then we were into the third act for like 2 hours, and then
Jesus.
lost to Haster.
Oh,
and I was
man.
like, oh my
Oh,
God.
man.
We were like on such a roll right out of the gate, and then just languished in Carcosa.
Ugh.
So that was unfortunate.
That sucks.
Yeah, we're going to give it, I think, maybe one more try, see if we can't prevail, and then start building decks for the Dreamlands, which I'm really excited for.
Cool.
That's going to be a fun one because it's set up where you're playing 2 different groups of investigators
Okay.
Okay.
that play in parallel. So each person builds 2 decks, and then you're running 2 mini campaigns
Uh-huh.
in parallel, where one group of investigators gets pulled into the Dreamlands and has to investigate there, and then the other group of investigators stays in the on Earth and tries to figure out where the other ones went and what's going on.
Gotcha.
So that's going to be fun, playing 2 different characters, trying to figure out the same mystery at the same time from 2 different worlds.
Oh, nice.
So we're psyched for that.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, I think that wraps up most of what we've been playing then. You don't have anything else, Wes?
No, just D&D. We killed a beholder. That happened. Boom, done.
Nice.
Yeah. We did play Dredd on MHGG.
Yeah, MHGG played Dredd, but I didn't want to talk about that because I figured everybody who's listening and or watching this already watched it. Right, guys? Right?
I'm going to say no.
Maybe not.
That was a lot of fun, though. I liked that. That Dredd scenario was really good.
Yeah.
I did get inspired and went and watched Alien, which I have actually never seen.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Well, hey, you fixed that problem. so that's
I
good.
went and fixed that problem. So I watched Alien this weekend. And
What'd you think?
It was really good.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I have seen bits and pieces of it whenever it's on TV
Yeah.
and stuff. I've never actually watched the
Right.
whole of the movie and everything. And so
It was like when we were earlier when we were talking about The Shining and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like
it's one of those movies that I know what happens,
Yeah.
and I've just never actually sat down and watched it. So
Yeah.
I did that this weekend,
Yeah.
and it was really good. I liked it.
From the chat, somebody wants to know how you felt about the ending to Alien. I assume that's what they're talking
Yeah,
about.
I mean,
Chat's not delayed in talking about the
They
ending
may
of
it may
your-
be delayed and talking about Carcosa. No, I thought it was fine. I mean, I thought it was weird how it was like they didn't properly explain why the alien was curled up inside of the ship.
I
like-
mean, basically, like why I was just waiting there.
Right. Like, was it like attracted to the heat or something, and that it was asleep, or like how was, I don't know, that
like why it was on the escape craft.
right, why it was in the escape craft and then not trying to kill her.
Yeah.
Like, how was it just asleep, curled up inside parts of the machines, and didn't notice her walking around with the cat and everything?
Right.
don't
I mean,
know.
I would assume that it would be sort of thing of like it was sort of waiting to like.
No, because she like touches it, and it
Yeah.
like its arm flops
No,
down, and then
no.
she screams and jumps into the closet.
Yes.
And it's like, how did it not notice her?
No, I'm saying I'm assuming it went into there to sleep to wait for the escape pod to get taken up by something else
Oh, it was ready to.
Yeah.
Okay.
to go to the next
Maybe.
Yeah, because
Maybe.
near the end of almost all alien movies, they go to escape pods and the aliens are like, "I'm ready for you already."
Yeah.
So
Anyway.
The whole movie it's just angry because it hasn't found an escape pod yet.
yes, exactly. Like, where is this fucking thing?
They just want to live in an escape pod in peace,
Yeah.
and humans won't let them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They were fine in
They're
that
trying
big
to
crashed
escape
alien
from
ship.
themselves.
Yeah.
And then to answer how I felt about the end of Return to
they
Carcosa.
clarified it was for Alien.
Well, I don't care. I'm going to talk about
Okay, we're returning to Return to Carcosa.
Return to Carcosa. I thought our ending was pretty good, except for that we lost. But because the way that it's set up is depending on how you play throughout the whole scenario
Yeah.
and how much doubt and conviction you have about whether or not you believe what you're seeing is real or not, you get a different ending. And we the first time we played it, not to return to the first time we played conviction for the most part, but kind of middle of the road, and we got a really unsatisfying ending. And this time we just went hard doubt.
Uh-huh.
And I thought it turned out really interesting that you're just like, no, this is fake. This is 100% fake. And that really shapes what your ending is that it is a figment of your imagination. Whereas with the other one, you end up admitting that this is all real and somebody has to become the new Haster in order to have the cosmic order be safe.
Oh, gotcha.
Spoilers.
Thanks a lot.
Typically, we do spoilers before we spoil things. But,
Yeah.
well, typically,
I mean, that's just-
professionals do it that
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
I wouldn't say the Mile High Game guys do it that
That's
way.
just whether or not you believe that what I'm telling you is real.
We've
Which
hit
I could
levels
be,
of meta.
yeah, I could be getting it wrong anyway. Cool. And thinking about Lost World instead. I don't remember. A lot of those stories bleed together because they're all just elder ones playing with your imagination.
That doesn't seem right.
I don't know. Anyway, that's Return to Carcosa.
So yeah, that wraps up pretty much everything. Dredd was a lot of fun. I ran it. One person survived. Watched
Yeah.
the stream to find out who.
I'll give you a hint. It might have been me.
It might have been.
It also might not have been.
That's
also
also
might
true.
not have
It
been.
may have
Yeah.
not.
Did you run it, Adrian?
I ran it,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
It was the rest of the MHGG crew sans Leander. So
Yeah, Leander was at the Lizzo concert.
Yeah.
So he was like, sorry, guys.
The
I'm
rest
going to
of
go
us
to
were
front row
jealous.
Lizzo
Yeah.
and not do a stream.
the best part was he hopped into the chat on Twitch. It was like, oh, cool. You guys are streaming. Hope everybody enjoys it. I'm at Lizzo. Bye.
Yeah. I know he was talking during the Eldorado stream that he was going to go back and watch the full experience
Yeah.
to see how that played out.
Yeah.
We'll be doing a Dredd episode for Mile High Game Guys Sunday.
Which one are you doing?
I am doing a kind of homebrewed one. No, not really. Like, it's not my homebrew. Somebody else homebrewed it, and then they put it up on the internet, and I said, yoink. So it's not one of the official, like, Dredd ones.
Right.
But it's it's kind of a monster horror one. It's going to be reminiscent of The Birds.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Birdemic, that movie?
No, I have
why?
not.
It's real bad.
That's what I've heard.
It's real bad.
Yeah.
Like as bad movies go, it's Hand of Thanos up there. Yeah.
Right on. There's no Jeff today, so there's definitely no Bloody Minute because none of us regularly play Blood Bowl. So
Nope.
This is the most Blood Bowl free
Yeah.
the Mile High Game Guys has been in a while. And you guys didn't end up doing Kingdom Death because Jeff was in
Correct.
Chicago, so there's no Kingdom Death Hour this week
Yep.
either. The Blood Bowl will probably be back next week when Jeff's back.
Yeah.
And Kingdom Death, I assume you guys are rescheduling for soon?
I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
I think like the previous week was like we can fit it into this slot of available. Like out of all the weeks, like this is the one week we could do it. And now that we couldn't do it, then we're like, all right, well now we got to figure out when the next time we can. So we'll see.
Okay. So Kingdom Death Hour on hold for a little while. I'm sure
Yeah.
you'll let us know when you reschedule.
Yes.
Cool. Well, that wraps up then what we've been playing and all of that regular episode banter, and we can move over to some news and Kickstarters. First up in news, we have a report coming from Kotaku about the late, great Jimi Hendrix.
I just want to let everyone we're light on news, so
It's a very, very light news
Yeah.
week.
yeah.
However, they're reporting over there on Kotaku that this comes from an old interview on Sirius Radio with Graham Nash of Crosby, Stills and Nash, where he was talking about all these different people he hung out with in the 60s and 70s. And when he got to Jimi, he said, Jimi would play Risk on acid, and I never, and me personally, ever beat him at all. He was unbelievable at it. He was a military man, he's a paratrooper, and I don't know whether you know that about Jimi, but no one ever beat him at Risk.
Especially
So-
on acid.
And they went through and they dug up some photos of definitely Jimi Hendrix
Mhm.
playing Risk, which I didn't realize back in the day. Apparently, Risk was like black plastic cubes. Like they don't even look like the little
Yeah,
soldiery
because the original
pieces.
ones, they weren't like actually shaped soldiers, and they were Roman numerals. You had a 1, a 5, and a 10.
Oh, that's what those are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, but Jimi Hendrix apparently really really good at tripping Risk. Next up on news, Z-Man has announced the 2020 Pandemic Survival Season. So this is their worldwide tournament that they do, and they've done a little bit of a twist with it. So they've been doing basically in the past, it was they're pretty just much standard pandemic tournaments as far as I understand. But now they're going to widen it up. So the tournaments were always the original pandemic, but now they are going to feature different games in that pandemic system. So like Iberia, Rising Tide, Fall of Rome, things like that.
Well, now that they're not making any more of those, in that same and as a survival series game, so
yeah. And the big announcement for this is that for 2020, for the survival series, they're gonna make you play Cthulhu. Of all the ones
they're
they
gonna
do,
make you do it.
they're doing Reign of Cthulhu.
Well, not just that too, but now to help with the costs, more or less, you have to bring your own copy.
Oh, boo.
Yeah, for like the regional tournaments and stuff like that. So
Okay.
yeah.
So if you want to participate in the 2020 pandemic like tournament, you've got to play a lot of Reign of Cthulhu, which is by far the worst of the pandemic series.
I've not tried it.
I was not impressed.
I was
myself.
not impressed. I would be curious if my opinion would change at all playing it now. But
yeah,
when it was like the first thing that I played that wasn't pandemic, that wasn't pandemic, I was like, oh, this is a bunch of bullshit. So I'm curious to see if it'll change.
Yeah. So
they will be giving out some what are these? A metallic purple set of Shoggoth and Cthulhu miniatures. So, little promo kit things.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And then they're doing some other changes too, where like the kits for it are going to focus more on prize support rather than like providing the games.
Yes.
So players, like you mentioned, Zach, are required. Every 2 players are required to provide 1 copy. And then you have to actually coordinate with the pandemic survival contact group before running events. They got a bunch of information on here if you want to participate, if you want to be in one of those events, or if you want to run one or any of that. So you can track all that down over there on their website.
I mean, I remember doing this, and I did it once at a Conclave of Gamers like 5 years ago or so.
Yeah.
At that 4 maybe, I don't remember. But it was a lot of fun when I did it. It was hard because you're playing at hard difficulty with just two people, and everybody was doing
right.
Everybody had the same cards, and so it was all about the choices you made. So.
Yeah. I'm being told that part of the reason Cthulhu might not have been as good is that Matt Leacock was not involved with it in any way, shape, or form.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I'd believe it then.
That's it for news. Just those 2 really, really light news items. So we're going to move on to some Kickstarters, starting with Zombicide 2nd Edition.
Yep.
Did you pull down information?
Yeah. So Zombicide is currently at 1.3 million of its $250,000 original goal. It's got about 10,000 backers and has 15 days left.
Right on. This is a new edition of Zombicide, which was like one of CMON's first forays into gigantic miniature based.
And I would say it's the thing that made them.
Yeah.
Even if I think they'd done a couple things before this, but like the Zombicide series has always been.
It was huge for them.
Yes.
It was like their first 3 Kickstarters were like all Zombicide.
Yep. And then like Zombicide Black Plague, like it broke made their highest, and then the Green Horde, which is that one broke it too. And then the Zombicide Invaders
did not do so well.
Didn't do as well. And so now it looks like they're trying to just be like, all right, well, let's just start it again.
Go back to that well and see, make sure it's dry.
And I mean, realistically, it looks like it's trying to all the quality of life changes they made throughout the different Zombicides, they're trying to bring back to the original one.
Yeah. Yeah, especially since the original one, like, it was definitely just a miniature game.
Yeah.
It had a lot of miniatures, but it was a lot of very basic level sculpts.
Yeah.
At the time, they were, like, borderline groundbreaking. But then it was a really simple game played on double-sided tiles. There wasn't a lot of interconnectivity, and there were some wonky rules and things like that they kind of fixed, especially when they moved into, like, the Black Plague, Green Horde
exactly,
time frame. And so they've carried a lot of that over here. So the rules haven't changed much. The biggest change that I saw going through here, like I actually pulled up the rule book and looked because they don't talk about any of the rule changes in the Kickstarter. But in the rule book, the big thing is they just incorporated the stuff from Black Plague / Green Horde, where you can attack into a square with somebody and they're not automatically hit, which used to be the old rule for Zombicide.
For range,
Instead, they're only hit when you miss. But they've updated all of the minis. They're all different, and there are, as to be expected, a lot of them. You're going to start with 6 regular survivors and then 6 kid survivors. which the kids are like slightly weaker, but they are slippery, so zombies have a harder time grabbing them. A whole bunch of different zombies now with even more sculpts and even more detailed sculpts.
Yeah, no, the sculpts are pretty good, especially like the new abominations.
Yeah, the
They
abominations
don't look
are
as
great.
like, because the old ones looked like super cartoonish and they're like over the top.
Right.
Like, these just look like fucking jacked, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. A bunch of other components.
The dashboards from
And they brought which were also
yes.
introduced originally with, I think, Black Plague.
Yep.
They're redone a little bit. They have a little bit different tracker for experience, and their backpack slots, I think, are a little bit different. I don't think they had the vertical slots
Yeah.
in the old ones. They might have. I can't remember. I have Black Plague. I just haven't opened it in forever. I mainly use it for D&D minis. But yeah, double-sided tiles, all that stuff. There is also, depending on what pledge level you go with, they've got an expansion, Washington ZC, that introduces a campaign mode where you actually track things over multiple sessions, which is something I always kind of wanted more from base Zombicide.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and the like you were speaking about the different levels, like the most popular one, which I forgot because I forgot that Jeff does that.
Oh yeah,
is the presidential one, which is $140, and that gets you everything except for the Zombicide
RPG.
the RPG, which a good amount of people back that one as well. That one is just $40 more, so it's $180 to go quote unquote all out.
Yeah.
Although I know you can get more optional stuff too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
ZC, in addition to that campaign mode, it adds some new advanced rules like a daylight function. So like when it gets dark, it's easier to sneak past zombies, but it's also harder to shoot them because it's dark. And you can use flashlights to like light things up, things like that. It adds some companions, more survivors, and a bunch more other stuff. Then they've introduced Zombicide Chronicles, which is their role-playing game. And it's going to be a hardcover book with a whole bunch of stuff about how to play Zombicide. It is made to actually use the characters' tiles and cards from the game, so you can use the game components to help run your RPG, which is something that I'm very interested in because I had at one point considered trying to do an RPG, a zombie RPG, using my Zombicide stuff. And I would just GM, and I would decide what zombies showed up where and when and how and what they did, rather than using the game's rules, and people would try to survive.
I feel that wouldn't be that big of a leap, especially if you just co-opted, a 5e rule set or something. You could make that happen real easy.
Right.
5e didn't exist when you were originally trying to do that, right?
I'm pretty sure it did. 5e
it?
came out back in what, like 2010, 2012,
I don't know.
something like that.
Oh, I thought it was like less than 5 years old.
I don't remember when I first got into Zombicide, but I'm pretty sure 5e was out. 5e was new. Oh, it came out in 2014 is what
I
I
was
was
going to say
saying.
5
Okay.
years. 5 years. It sounded
Gotcha.
right, yeah.
So, yeah, and I didn't get into, I don't know if I got my first Zombicide until 2013.
Even then, though, I bet actually the 4e rule set would fit a lot better into that sort of tactical
Yeah, because it
mindset.
was much more of a tactical combat
Yeah.
edition. But yeah, so it is a standalone RPG though, so you don't have to have any of the other Zombicide stuff if you want to play it. Yeah. Zach already talked a little bit about the pledge levels. There's $100 if you just want Zombicide, $140 if you want Zombicide and the expansion, $50 if you just want the RPG, $180 if you want everything. And then the Nostalgia Pledge, which is their upgrade kit, is $40. And that will get you the second edition dashboards, the second edition Survivor ID cards, as well as some standard zombie cards and things, updated ID cards, a whole bunch of stuff to basically cover all of the original first edition survivors. So it's going to be a lot because they had a lot of survivors.
Yes, they did.
Over the course of first edition.
Oh, yeah, there was a lot of them.
And so that upgrade kit will get you all of that.
And there's a
for
bunch
$40.
of additional add-ons of various dice and extra tiles and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
I think that's just all first edition base game survivors. I don't know if that's what you're implying or not.
I mean, it says 124 updated ID cards
Oh.
for all first
I missed
edition
that.
survivors.
No, then you're right.
Yeah.
My bad. No, yeah. For whatever reason, I saw 6 starting equipments and then all like first. And I missed. Okay, that's good. That's better.
Yeah, because they've adjusted the starting equipment a bit too. So
Yes.
there's new starting equipment cards and things. But yeah, so they've got rule books up for both second edition and for the ZC expansion. They have a teaser document for the role-playing game, but not much else there. And then they've got some photos of some super sweet painted up minis, so you can see what some of these look like.
Those look real nice.
Yeah, whoever they got to paint those did a great job. And then some videos and stuff like that. So, like Zach said, a bunch of different add-ons too if you want to do additional buys, more tiles, different dice. Danny Trejo set.
Yep.
Which if you watch the video over on there, it's voiced by Danny Trejo.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
yeah, bunch of cool stuff if that's what you're into. So
as someone who used to really like Zombicide, would you consider getting the first one, like the a whole new thing, or the nostalgia pledge, or just all of it?
no, like as I was saying when we were pre-show,
Yeah,
I
I understand that, but that's
and I'm
The
just
listeners weren't here
and
for
that- well, and that's-
pre-show.
I was just gonna tell them what I said during pre-show. Jeez, that was part of the buildup.
yeah. But you didn't have to say that it was a part of pre-show.
Yeah, because
Well, like I said in pre-show, jeez.
when I was first, because I hadn't looked at this Kickstarter
Uh-huh.
until we sat down a little bit before recording just to brush up on it. But I'd known it was coming for a while, and I was like, man, no interest. I'm so past Zombicide. I don't want. And then I'm sitting there, and I was like, fuck, guys, why do I want Zombicide so bad? Like, guys, I really, or like, I don't
Nobody
wanna get,
knows.
I want to get all this. I love zombie shit. I can't help it. It's my one theme that I'm super into. And the new minis look fucking sweet. Yeah, if I played Zombicide at all, even remotely anymore, I would definitely get it. I haven't played Zombicide in, I don't know, 2 years.
I mean, would you consider something like playing it again to see if you are still interested in it at all, to help you decide if you wanted to get this?
You've got 15 days.
Yeah.
One of the things that killed Zombicide for me was it just takes so damn long. Now, especially
Yeah.
now with so much that I have, it's in a fucking tub,
Uh-huh.
like a big plastic tub. It's just such a pain to pull out, set up. It's not hard to teach, but there's a lot of like little random shit. For
For the campaign mode, do you think it would be worth it then?
campaign mode, maybe.
Campaign.
Maybe.
Maybe if only it was a legacy campaign, then.
Yeah.
Well, shit. I mean, I'm considering, if they release a better idea of like what that RPG book looks like,
Mhm.
I might throw them $40 to get the RPG and then
Just
use
that,
all
yeah.
my old
Yeah.
Zombicide shit to play the RPG.
You could
I'm
do
sure
that.
it translates, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Again, not that I need another campaign game, but I would not be opposed to playing the campaign.
right?
Yeah. He's not wrong.
Yeah.
But I also have way too many campaigns
Yes,
I'm not playing right now.
We do.
You're not the only one.
Yes.
So-
Many of those campaigns are ones that I am also in, Wes.
Yep.
Zach and I have a few
I
that
forgot when we were counting them out the other day that
Yeah.
I do also still have LCG in that group or in that count that I was not thinking of because it's with different people. and
Exactly,
it's like
yeah.
I just have so many campaigns. I
Yeah.
play 3 or 4 different campaign games a week at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm already still interested in this, even as somebody who's like moved on from
Yeah.
Zombicide.
You're
Like,
gonna at least start
just
it
when-
to be like
just when-
48 hours before.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. But yeah. So there's your $100 miniature game of the week. It's Zombicide 2nd edition. Moving on. Speaking of well-established Kickstarter companies coming back for more kickstarting,
Coming back from the dead, one might say.
maybe.
I don't know. That seems like it was more appropriate for the previous.
It definitely would have been. But we have Tiny Epic Dinosaurs.
So Tiny Epic Dinosaurs is at 328,000 of its 15,000. About 9,300 backers with 14 days left, and its most popular pledge is $24 for the deluxe version.
Yeah. So I'm going to let Zach take the reins on this one because Zach is vastly more familiar with Tiny Epic things than I am. But this is another Tiny Epic game.
Yes, it is. So this one is. So when I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, is this just like Dinosaur Island or the other one, Dinogenics?" There we
Yes.
go. And sort of, but not really, because this one you're just Dinosaur Ranch. You're not trying to make a park. You're just making dinosaurs and then selling the dinosaurs to the other parks.
You're
Okay.
just,
Parks.
you just have a farm of adorable little dinosaurs.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's a worker placement game mainly. There are these cards that come out that are, like those giant, quote unquote, giant cards that, are the size of a Tiny Epic box. They're double-sided depending on the amount of players you're playing with. It gives you different worker spots. And it's stuff like you can get, obviously you can go catch dinosaurs. You can go buy tech, you can get food, you can, stuff like that, right? You can build fences. One interesting aspect of it is on your little ranch board, like that's where you put your fences out, that's where you put the dinosaurs, but they all have resources on them. And so at the beginning of each round, any resources that are open are stuff that you actually get. So if there is meat or like green grass or supplies open, then you can get that, and those are going to help you feed your dinosaurs. But as you fill up your entire park full of dinosaurs, then you're not going to get that many supply seats around. And so there are these contracts that you can get. You can have a personal one and then like public ones that you can claim, and it's usually like, hey, two stegosauruses and velociraptor, or 3 triceratops, or not those, 3 whatever. Allosauruses, I think, are ones in this. But then when you claim them, you get to take them off your board, and you're going to get points at the end. So it's all about making up dinosaurs, like creating dinosaurs. Do you create them? No, you just hunt them, and then you also buy them.
Okay.
And then they also make babies too. But in that way that people, or at least some people, always got wrong in Agricola.
It's just one. As long as you have at least 2, you get one new one.
In that, but no, the way that we always played it incorrectly, at least I did, is for every 2 you got 1. So in this is that same way. So if you have,
it's 4 each pair. There it is.
Yeah, and
nice.
So, one interesting thing too is that when you're trying to capture dinosaurs in the the wild, you roll a die, and it's not like you're always successful. It's like you have a 3 out of 6 chance of just nothing happening.
Okay.
You have a 2 out of 6 chance of your worker getting injured, but all that means is that they go into like the field hospital, or to the medic, and so that space is open for someone else to take it. It doesn't actually hurt you at all, because as soon as the round's over, you get that guy back.
Okay.
But then you have a 1 out of 6 chance of getting an egg, so you send your guy out to hunt, 1 stegosaurus, and he comes back with 2. And then so sometimes that can work out for you, but other times if you are like, okay, I have exactly enough stuff for like this 1 stegosaurus, and then the hunter just brings back 2, and you're just like, oh fuck, I don't have anywhere to actually put them. And it's like Dinogenics, where if they basically, if they aren't properly contained, they're gonna bust out, and they can cause chain reactions of like, you can bust something out, which then makes other things come out, which can really hurt you.
Yeah, that's not great.
Yeah. But then you just have to feed them at the end of the round, and there are special dinosaurs you can get from the tech slot that give you special bonuses for certain things. Like that's where the T-Rex is, the Triceratops.
Yeah.
There's like some omnivores, there's some water dinosaurs, stuff like that.
Yeah, the official 4 are Stegosaurus, Velociraptor, Brachiosaurus, Allosaurus, and then there are 12 unique singles that you can just get as the extra fancy stuff.
And the single ones are nice because you don't actually have to put them in their own barricade, or I guess they come with their own barricade. But it seems interesting enough. It seems like there's enough difference between like this one and then like Dinosaur Island or Dinogenics.
Yeah.
What's the dinosaur roll and write one?
Welcome to Dino World.
It feels like it's very similar to that.
Except that you aren't like, I think like the thing this has is that you are making the dinosaurs, but then you have to sell them, because you can't just collect dinosaurs all game, because you will run out of space really quickly. Because especially if you're just like, if you're like, you hunt twice and you roll the egg both times, now you have 4 dinosaurs that you're like, oh fuck, I don't have anywhere enough to, to have the food or anything. Yeah, so.
Cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. This one is the most interested I've been in a Tiny Epic game in a while. One, because dinosaurs is kind of a cool theme, and like it seems like it's more of a straightforward worker placement.
So it does have the worker thing where sort of like what was it? Energy Empire, where it's like you can put 1 worker in a spot and it's blocked, but if someone wants to go there, they can either put 2 workers, or like there's 1 worker, like the chief worker is like worth 2 and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it's like soft blocking, but it still is making people have to pay more to do certain things like that. And I looked like from the playthrough I watched of it, there weren't a lot of like great spaces, or if you know what I mean, that there wasn't an abundance of choices. So
yeah.
So it seems yeah. I don't know if I'd back this one or not, but this would be, especially after the last two, what was it, Tactics and the Mech one?
Yeah.
Like this one, I was like, I might be interested in this one. Unfortunately, and I don't know how it would. It doesn't use the item meeples that they created for all the other ones.
Yeah.
Because it just wouldn't make sense for this. But
I want to give my Stegosaurus a rocket launcher.
look, we can make that fucking 90s dinosaurs and laser,
Yeah.
like all those
That can
artworks.
happen.
We can just make that happen.
Yeah,
It'll be fine.
let's do it.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're going to make dinosaurs and people are going to use them as weapons of war, as has been insinuated in the Jurassic World series, why not give them lasers and rockets?
Yes.
I mean,
That's all I have to say.
No, we're not disagreeing.
No, we're
Okay.
not. Yeah.
Just so we're all on the same page here.
Yeah.
Yep.
I want dino rockets.
Yes. Gotcha. And yeah, we're gonna have a gun
Freaking laser
that's gonna have a laser on
beams.
it that we can point it at something, and then we can get the Velociraptor to attack it instead of just shooting it with the gun that we already have in our hand that we're pointing at it.
No, you give the guns to the Velociraptors.
So that way they can point at the things that they want to kill.
No, but then what if they pointed at you?
They would never do such a thing.
What? Yeah. What? What, Zach? That's absurd. This can only go well. There are no downsides.
What if they pointed at themselves?
So on that note,
Yeah.
depressing,
Yeah.
dinos committing suicide.
Look.
Jeez. We were having a good time talking about dinosaurs murdering people. And you had to just turn that around and make it real.
Get real, yeah. Yeah.
I'm not angry, Zach.
Uh-huh.
I'm just disappointed.
I'm okay with that.
I'm angry.
I can tell.
Well, Wes, I'm disappointed that you're angry.
Anyway, that's Tiny Epic Dinosaurs. So we can move on to the next Kickstarter,
All right.
which is Emperor's Choice, the latest deluxeified game from Tasty Minstrel Games.
So this is barely funded right now, 44,000 of its 40,000 goal. It's got about 440 backers, and it's about 18 days left. And pretty much the only thing that you can really back it for is $100 for the deluxeified version,
Yep.
because they basically are like, people only really back this for the deluxeified, so we're gonna not really do the retail version of it. Or so yeah.
Makes sense.
This is Emperor's Choice was a game that's been previously released. Designer Hisashi Hayashi, and they're re-releasing it. So it's 3 to 5 player auctioning game. Takes 90 to 120 minutes, and yeah, they have deluxeified the shit out of this.
Yes, they have.
136 plastic mahjong tiles, 60 wooden pieces, 55 metal coins. They say later on down there in the shipping section, they expect it to weigh 4.5 kilograms, which is like what, almost 12 pounds?
Yeah,
That
close
is-
to it.
Somewhere around 12 pounds. So just a redonkulous bunch of stuff here. Basically, the way the game plays is it's going to play over 6 rounds, and each round you go through a few different phases, where the first phase is the auction phase. You're using cards that have a bid value on them and then supplementing them with your soldiers. So if you play a card that has like 3 on it and then you supplement 2 soldiers, your bid's at 5. You keep bidding like this until everybody but one person is passed. That determines turn order for that round. Then in turn order, you're going to claim dynasty tiles from the display. They give you both immediate and long-term effects. Then you go around on into like the individual phase where you collect income, recruit new character cards, hire soldiers, things like that. Move up the palace board, which I don't really know what that is. And then whoever at that point has the highest Emperor's Trust gets to choose a decree that affects all players, and then they flip that card over. And then at the end of the round, new dynasty tiles are placed for the next round of bidding, and you move into that one. Like I said, you do 6 rounds with those 4 phases over and over again. And then at the end of the game, whoever has the most points is the winner. I've heard really good things about this game. In the heavier game Slack that I'm in, the Clatch, they have been talking about it, and that it's actually a really good auction game. But they all are fairly disgusted by how ridiculously deluxeified this one is.
Well, I mean, they sort of address that. It goes, we have seen the board game industry change from an era where satisfactory components and presentation were commonplace into a time where deluxe games are now becoming the new quote-unquote normal. So I don't expect that to change anytime soon.
Yeah.
And for those of you checking my quick mental math, 4.5 kilograms is much closer to 10 pounds than 12.
Okay.
Still.
I was trusting you, Wes, because I certainly don't know metric to imperial conversions off the top of my head.
I've switched my phone to Celsius and stuff like that just to try and get it into my brain better. It's not working.
No, it's
Yeah. I woke up the other day
you
and
look at the temperature.
and the temperature overnight was like -4 degrees or something. I was like, damn, it got that cold, which is like 30 in Fahrenheit.
Yeah. Which is still cold. But...
Still cold, but yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so they're I don't know how I feel about the fact they're just going with like everything we do is going to be deluxeified now. Like they're like, yeah, there's no retail pledges, so like the deluxeified one, like if you want a retail, like if you're a retail store, you're getting the deluxe edition. So that's nice, like because it kind of sucks, for some of their games, like not having the deluxeified editions.
Yes.
But at the same time, like I don't know if this game ever needed to be deluxeified. Like I feel like the giant amount of mahjong tiles is going to actually make this harder to set up and play.
So what were those before? Just
Little cardboard
pieces?
Little cardboard
Okay.
pieces.
Yeah.
Like
It makes it harder to sell at retail.
yeah, especially like, if you're a brick and mortar store, you're going to have a hard time getting somebody to buy a 10-pound box of plastic.
Right.
But I see their point. Like when they offered both, most people pledged for the deluxe stuff. So
if you're gonna have a regular and a deluxe one, most people will be like, well, fucking just take the deluxe
I'll do
one.
the deluxe. So then if that's where the market is at.
Yeah.
But then, like I said, the
it's
brick and mortar,
yeah,
there is no retail version.
Yeah.
So now they have to sell deluxe. And I feel like the deluxeified edition as a genre is really only viable as a Kickstarter.
Well, I mean, that's what they're saying too, is that like any reprints of the game are going to have to come through Kickstarter.
yeah.
So, I mean, and they still, they do games that aren't Kickstarter stuff, right?
Some.
Yeah, still. So they're just basically saying they're like, they've made a choice.
Yeah.
That their deluxe ones are we're just going to do the deluxe stuff and we're just going to get it.
It's not like they don't have enough market research to back that up.
Yeah.
And these mahjong tiles, though, are like crazy thick.
Oh,
like
yeah.
they could have cut these things in half, and they still would have been a good, thick plastic tile.
They're the Hanabi size tiles.
Yeah.
I mean, they are. Yeah.
I mean, that's that, but I mean, okay. Yeah. I mean, but basically it's just, those are mahjong tile sizes.
Right. That is what mahjong tiles are.
So they're like, we've got mahjong tiles. It's what they've got.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that was
It's a
cheaper for them to
standard
do
size
than to
right,
get a different mold that would be half the size. But then you're saving so much on shipping and box size and all of them. So, like, yeah, May's calling me out that they're not mahjong tiles if you cut them in half.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, don't have mahjong tiles then. Have nice plastic tiles. I don't know. Yeah.
That's right.
I hate their whole thing here. Like this line just makes me sad. However, we have seen the board game industry change from an era where satisfactory components and presentation were commonplace into a time when deluxe games are the new normal. It's like,
no.
what's wrong with this? Like, satisfactory stuff is good.
No, you haven't seen that change in the market. You've seen that changed in your customers' market.
Yeah.
Like by offering both only using Kickstarter as a way to tailor towards the people who want to buy the deluxeified things, you're seeing a warped side of the market.
Right.
Yep. There is still a huge market for acceptable pieces. 18xx.
And I would say like a lot of we're coming to this, but
I know.
a lot of 18xx's, have slightly like not what I would necessarily call satisfactory. They're like bare minimum for functionality.
They are functional.
Which I am fine with. Yeah,
Yeah.
functional pieces are all like as long as the game functions, you're fine.
But it's one of those things. No, I mean, but you also have like, you have stuff like Stonemaier that they don't use Kickstarter anymore like that, but they have like their stuff is about
much overly produced.
produced, and it's
Good God,
like
yeah.
they're very successful that way too. So I can easily see someone's looking at the successful ones, like the very successful, either Kickstarters or just like pre-orders and stuff like this, and being like, well, this is what people want.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm curious. This launched, was it today that it launched, or did it launch? It launched like last week, and it's only
got 2 weeks
just
left, right?
now.
I mean, I'll tell you,
funded.
the last couple TMGs I've seen have been not that successful. Like one of them, the thing that was sort of like Ponzi scheme, Dragon's Gold or something, whatever it's called. That one took like 3 weeks to get to funded. Like it only got funded near the end of its thing. So
Yeah. Which,
Yep.
I don't know.
I
don't
mean,
know whether-
it's showing, like you said, that it's only barely funded, like, you know, so it's not a runaway success or anything like
No.
that.
It's too bad because like I've heard really good things about the game Emperor's Choice, on face value, but I'm certainly not going to spend $100 on it. Like, just not.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll show up in a discount bin in the future at retail. We'll see.
I doubt that.
We'll see. But yeah, that's Emperor's Choice Deluxeified from Tasty Minstrel Games, which brings us to our last Kickstarter for this episode, 1861 and 1867.
That one's currently 66 out of its 30,000 goal. 66,000 of its 30,000 goal. Just under 1,000 backers. 26 days left, and a reasonable price of $60 for basically a copy of both.
Yeah,
So that's $30 for an 18XX game.
Suboptimal components, though. I'm just gonna if they deluxeified it a little bit, I might have been more interested in buying it.
On it, like, have you actually looked at this yet?
No.
Okay. This, I'll just go out and be the one to say this right now. Like, this is the best 18XX I've ever seen in terms of graphics.
It has real
Yeah.
pictures of trains and shit.
Yeah. But yes, honestly, the fact that there isn't just like a plain white background anywhere makes me very happy.
It's nice they did brag that they funded in 4.5 hours, though.
They did?
So they're not going to be right up to the end as that deluxeified version.
Exactly.
No,
might be, so.
and the Deluxeified only had 400 backers. This is already over 1,000 backers.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it is doing, in some ways, significantly better.
I would say in all ways.
Well, not in pure amount raised. It's only... Oh,
yeah.
wait, because that one
Yes.
was 40,000.
Yes, it was.
Oh, yeah. So
Yeah.
this is doing better in every... And this launched...
And
like,
it has 26 days versus the 18 days.
Yeah.
So, and it's
Yeah.
a cheaper game too. So,
Indeed. So anyway, 1861 and 1867, as you can see up here on the top of your, on the little screen here in the stream right below my face, I'm a backer. I've already backed this. I am super excited to continue to expand my 18XX collection. 1861, Railways of the Russian Empire was one of my first 18XXs that I played, especially once I kind of moved away from like the 1889 and moved into some more interesting 18XXs.
because there's two types of 18XXs, right?
There's, broadly speaking, there's two
the
genres.
stock market one and the
Yeah.
operational one.
Yeah.
These are more operational, right?
I believe so. I
Okay.
don't know. I'm really terrible about identifying that side of the 18XX thing. I wish Nick was in chat to fact check me. But even more is, so you can subdivide things down. Like there's like 1830 style games that are all kind of based off the 1830 system. 1861 was a game that was designed, drawing a blank on the name, Ian Wilson, designed 1861, and then about a decade later, he did 1867 Railways of the Canada, which just builds off that system he kind of did for 1861.
I just want to say on this board, there's 3 different colors of blue,
I
man.
know.
3 different
Yeah, no.
shades of blue.
It's not
It
so
looks
far
like
off
a
of,
real board game.
Yeah.
it's not so far off of what I'm used to for 18XX, but it's just enough better to feel like a real game.
Right?
And they do say art is not final. So it could get better.
Or it just gets worse.
They're like, all right, now that we got your money, have this shit. It was all a tease.
I don't anticipate that from
No.
these guys. The main guy running this, Josh Starr, he's a quality guy.
Comes with a vacuum form tile tray storage.
Not yet. That unlocks at $100,000. That's a stretch goal.
It's the next one that, okay.
Yeah.
They
So
tell you what's next, not what you've got.
yeah. So in addition to getting basically it's primarily a reprint of 61 and 67 just bundled into one game. However, they have done a few things to improve on both of them. It includes 1861S, which is the short game variant. That basically in 1861 you start off with like some private companies and then you move into minor companies, and then midway through the game your minors grow up into some majors, and then you play through the end game with your major companies. This variant, you either deal out, like they say, if it's new players, you can just deal them out. If it's slightly more experienced players, you can auction them off, but you auction off bundles of privates and minor companies just to kind of get you into that a little bit quicker and not have to like fund the miners and go through all those steps. Then it has a teaching scenario that has a scripted playthrough for 2 sets of operating rounds that shows off train shuffling, nationalization, and mandatory train purchasing, loans, all of those things, and merge all of that within the first 2 operating rounds to just kind of get you used to the flow of the game and some of the things that you may see. Combined a comprehensive rule book that they went through. They combined the rule books and they went through and completely redid them to be better rule books that teach the game in a more intuitive manner. The stock market, and this is something I'm really interested in. Normally the stock markets are like part of the big printed boards for 18xx's. This time it's separate, so you can use either stock market with either game, because the one stock market is a little bit like, I don't want to say easier, but it's different and might be more accessible for some players than others.
Nice.
Then there's a bunch of different variant rules that Ian Wilson has designed to streamline 1861, or things that, when he did 1867, 10 years later, he changed some things, and now you can use some of those things they changed in 67 back in 61. More like certificates and things that you can use, complete graphic overhaul, as we've talked about, with all of the updated art and graphics. 18xx with art.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about this.
No, yeah.
And then if they hit that
You should
100K
be.
stretch
You
goal.
really should
Oh,
be.
man. Yeah, I'm so jazzed about this. And then if they hit that 100K stretch goal, we'll get the tile trays. And the really cool thing about the tile trays is it just really good for storage. They're meant to be like pulled out and like help facilitate play.
Yeah.
And having good tile storage is a huge thing for 18xxers trying to figure out a way to store all their little tiles. So,
Still paper money, though.
Well, it's still paper money, but one,
they include money.
they include money, which I'm happy about, because it's stupid to not to have a
include
game
everything you need to play.
exactly. And 2, anybody who's going to have this game is not going to play with the paper money.
Almost.
Almost.
Most of them
Yeah.
probably already have
Poker chips or
poker
whatever.
chips or have heavily backed iron clays.
Yeah, exactly.
things of that nature. God, I want my iron clays. But yeah, both of these games are fairly straightforward. They're in the 3 to 6 hour range, so they're ones that can conceivably be played, especially with that new short variant for 61, can conceivably be played in an evening. They have a whole bunch of stuff here about, like, if you're new to 18xx, check these things out, including the 18xx intro from Ambi over at Dice Tower.
Oh, yeah.
Our and Board Game Blitz also, our fellow Gray Fox sponsee partner. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's got to be a better word for that. Gray Fox also sponsors them. Draft Mechanic, Board Game Blitz, and us are the 3 shows that Gray Fox sponsors. It's awesome.
I'm sure Kaiser will write us in and tell us the word.
I certainly hope so. It's been far too long since we've had Kaiser educating us on the show. But yeah, so you can see Ambi's 18xx intro video that she did for Dice Tower. That's very good. A bunch of other videos and things about how to play and what the game's like. Yeah, I'm real excited. I'm currently backing it at 60. If anybody who's in the local market wants to jump in, I think 4 is their group pledge number. So if there's 3 more in the Denver area who want to jump in, holla at me, and we can make that happen. So that
it's to save on shipping is basically
yes,
right. Because it's $240 for 4 copies. So I was like, well, you're not saving anything there.
No, it's just to
on shipping.
Consolidate shipping. But yeah. There's also, you can look, I'll try and find the link and get it over to Zach before he posts the episode on Wednesday, but there was actually a really interesting blog post, I think we might have even talked about it on the show, so it might be in one of the older show notes, about some of the things they went through where trying to design the cards and get them to be really functional no matter how you stack them, because they're people always stack their cards, and but it needs to be clear across the table, how many cards you have, of a given company, how many stocks you have, and things like that. And so
I don't know if we ever talked about it on the show. I think that was just on Slack.
Was it just on Slack that we okay.
Yeah. But I'm sure we can find that.
Yeah, so I'll try and track down a link and get it to Zach before he posts this on Wednesday. But reading through some of the design challenges they went through, to try and actually get really good art and graphic design incorporated into this, I appreciate. And I thought it was
I think it
looks
did a great.
great.
Yeah. It did a great job.
Yeah. So
this would be the first time I would just be like, well, if you like 18xx, then you definitely should back this if you are interested in these games.
yes.
Sure.
Most things are going to be double-sided, just also.
Because it's 2 games in one box, so that's
That's how they do that.
Sorry, you can't play both of them at the same time.
No.
But yeah, then some of the stretch goals will add some things that help. Not everything will be as double-sided, but yeah, super, super, super excited about this. So excited.
Yep.
They're just cruising through stretch goals. Oh man. Next one, linen finish on cards.
Mhm.
I like a good linen finish.
Well, that'd be great if they also get the ivory cores.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, I'm hoping they get all the way to the 100. I want that vacuum form tile.
They got
storage.
26 days to do it, so
Yeah.
Yeah. They still need to go another $40,000.
yep.
So
We'll see.
indeed we shall. But that wraps up news and Kickstarter. So with 1861, 1867 as our final Kickstarter. So that brings us over to some listener feedbacks.
I don't think we have any.
I don't think we have any. There is an email, but we're going to save it for Jeff when he gets back. We thought about having Wes read it. I kind of wanted to read it because it's a great email and it's relevant to my interests. But Jeff's
Board games?
Jeff, podcasts. I say podcasts. Podcasts about board games. Feedback from Necro Daddy in chat. Feedback, you guys rock.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Yeah. With that pretty much wraps everything up. If you want to leave us feedback, you can do it in the Twitch chat while you watch us stream things over on our Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/MHGameGuys.
It is the most direct way.
It is easily one of the ways to shoot right your comments into our faces. Jeff just yells MHJJ in chat for some reason.
Thanks, Jeff.
Is Jeff watching us?
Yes, Jeff is watching.
Jeff, get us a fucking quote so we can say it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I do not have a prepared statement.
Yeah, Jeff, we need a prepared statement.
Quick, text it to me.
Boyd, the Broncos lost. Real bad. We're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, we don't need to.
And I think we already talked about it last week.
Not this most recent one, but
Oh, wait. Yeah, no. Yeah. Thursday Night Football reminded us that the Broncos are still bad and the Chiefs are still good.
Yep.
Something that we had apparently all forgotten over the 2 weeks leading up to that game.
Was that here or was that in Kansas?
That was here.
That was here.
Yeah. That's typically, we almost always lose when they come here.
It makes no sense. Anyway, ways to get in touch with us. Contact information. That's what's important. So, like I said, you can directly chat with us through the Twitch chat and distract me while I'm trying to record things by going over to our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/MHGameGuys. Another easy way to interact directly with us is to join our Slack channel. There's links for that over on our website, milehighgameguys.com, as well as links to our Board Game Geek Guild number 2731, where Zach keeps a calendar updated with streams when we're going to be actually streaming those Twitch channels, as well as threads for you to discuss the things that we put out on the podcast or that we stream on Twitch, so you can give us feedback over there.
yes.
You can also find us over on Twitter, where I tweet under @MHGameGuys.
I am Zach_MHGG and Jeff is Jeff_MHGG.
Wes, you have
I have
Twitter as well.
I do. It's at Pathetic Lifeform, or you can find us at MHDD_pod for the Dungeon Delvers.
Indeed. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram, both of those /MileHighGameGuys. And we are getting dangerously close to having a custom URL over on YouTube. So for now, you just have to go to YouTube and search Mile High Game Guys. And you can find us over there, and then you can subscribe to us on YouTube. And when we cross the 100 subscriber mark, we can get a custom URL. So we can be like youtube.com/probably MHGameGuys. But we still need 100 subscribers to do that. So go subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
Did
Did you say emails?
I did not say emails because Jeff isn't here and it confuses me. You can always send us emails.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
Emails at
at
milehighgameguys.com.
Yep.
Plenty of ways to get in touch with us. Something else I forgot before Gray Fox.
Oh, yeah.
Wait. We're going to have to wait for Jeff.
Okay.
So I will say we got a new patron.
Yes, we did.
So thank you to our new patron. But we're going to wait to do the full.
We got to officially thank them.
Is it a $1?
It's a $1 pledge, and we can't do a $1 pledge without Jeff to roast them.
I mean, for a $1 pledge, I think you can make them wait.
Yeah.
Exactly. See,
Yeah.
Wes gets it.
Yeah, Jeff will get
Wes
around to it at some
gets
point.
it. But yeah, it's Joshua. So thank you, Joshua, for supporting us. We appreciate that. And
But
we
you'll
do want to
get your
acknowledge that
real
we know
thanks.
you support it.
Yeah.
And this way I can be like honest, like, hey, thank you, and you don't have to get shit on until next week when Jeff's back.
Yeah.
And then Jeff will be like, hey, ha ha ha. But
that was a spot on Jeff impression.
I thought I was watching. I was expecting hair to just unfurl underneath your headphones.
like, I just pull out my man bun and it
You've been here
spills
the
down.
whole time.
Oh, but yeah, thank you, Joshua, for your support. We super appreciate it. And anybody else who wants to, you can support us over on our Patreon, patreon.com/MileHighGameGuys. So, Necro Daddy also just subscribed to us on YouTube. So we're up to 85 subscribers,
Sweet.
15 more to go. So I know we have more than 15 people who listen to this show who have not yet subscribed on YouTube. So go subscribe.
Trying to
on
remember
YouTube.
if I'm subscribed or not. Yeah,
I am.
whatever.
Anyhow, that pretty much wraps up all of how to get a hold of us. If I don't know what I was going to say with the if, but that's all the ways you can get a hold of us. As always, on Wednesday episodes, we would like to thank our awesome sponsors, Gray Fox Games. We have been doing a couple streams recently of their latest Kickstarter that's shipping out to people, War of the Worlds, The Next Wave. We will have a review of that coming up here shortly once Jeff gets back in the swing of things.
Yep.
And then their Kickstarter After the Empires wrapped up recently, but pre-orders are still available over at grayfoxgames.com. Jeff's not here, so which one of you is going to do the prepared statements?
He's got it.
It's 80% Jeff, a.k.a. Wes,
With
filling in with the prepared statement.
80% of a prepared statement. Gray Fox Games, quality games, cleverly crafted. That is hard to say. Gray Fox Games, quality games, cleverly crafted. War has changed.
It's good enough. That's fine.
80% of the way there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's 80% Jeff, a.k.a. Wes. That
That was a disaster is what that was.
Yeah.
the Boyd says prepared statement is harder than we thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeff puts effort in.
Well,
I think
he prepares for it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
That wasn't you. What you saw was an unprepared statement.
That was an unprepared statement.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. That wraps up the episode. We're gonna stop this before it devolves any further.
Because it will.
Yeah. Anyway, that wraps up the episode. Thanks everybody who joined us over on Twitch watching during the live stream. We really appreciate that. Thank you especially to all of you who listen to the podcast week in and week out. We also greatly appreciate that.
Yes,
you are
we
the
do.
reason we keep doing all of this shenanigans. So, yeah, y'all are important to us. Thanks for listening and being a part of everything. As always, I've been your host, Adrian.
I'm still Zach.
I guess I'm Wes.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks everybody for tuning in over on Twitch. We appreciate everybody who watched us.
Do you have ice in your mouth? Thank you. I was not gonna let that keep going.
I had a margarita.
Yeah.
It was a strong margarita.
I had 3 of those.
They weren't pint sized
That's
though.
true. Okay, so 1.5 of those.
Yeah.
I didn't have ice though.
Isn't pint size usually mean smaller?
I hate everything about this.
Punchboard Media, where we all
Bring something
to the table.
pull up a chair
At punchboardmedia.com.